Hi and welcome back. Okay, so in the last part we finished the creation of this portal, as I like to call it, or you can call it anything else you want really. Now, all I'm doing is I'm applying a couple of basic textures to it just so I can see what I'm doing. Now the idea of this is we want to mix, like I said, the old technology idea with the kind of new tech ideas as well. So what I'm going to do is build a opening system for the doorway that really doesn't fit in with what it should be. Now with a doorway of this kind there'd normally either be a small doorway inside it, because like I say, if I just get a little dude out, this is about the average size of a person in relation to the door, so there'd be a little door there, or they're both open for state events. However, we're not going to do it that way because that's boring. We're going to have it open this way instead, which is much more fun, as long as it doesn't flatten and kill the poor little guy who's going to be inside there. Now the problem is, if I bring it down this way like this, then you're looking at about what, a metre of thickness that has to be climbed over in order to get into the doorway. So let's move that pivot point a little bit. If I move my pivot point this way, like so, drop in perspective, what I'm going to do is make a duplicate of my door by bringing this down 90 degrees. Now the cunning thing is, this is actually going to be level with the floor now, which is good. Right. Now, we can't bring the entire door down into this piece. You have seen probably already one of the problems we have, which is that these two pillars here are going to be slightly in the way. So we need to make this door actually slightly smaller than it already is. So first of all, let's scale the doorway in a little bit. Now, as you see, one of the problems of doing that is it doesn't actually fit in with the background particularly well anymore. Right, so what we have to do is find a way of making a smaller door inside the larger door, if you get what I'm coming from, which isn't actually that difficult. What I'm going to do is finish what I was doing earlier on, really. Ring that, and that, and that. Just do a quick connect, and a cut. I'll do the same again. There, 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 and there. Okay, another connect. And that gives us this inner part here, which we can then select. Just click grow. Whee! There we go. And now I didn't select the ones that I didn't get first time. There we are. Now I'll detach those, and we'll call it inner door. Now we have a little bit of repair work left to do, so hide this. And as you can see, we don't have any polygons on the inside of here, and I can't really just cap it, so I'm going to have to just bridge them. Again, this is a great use for the Wacom if you can work out where you've left the damn thing. I'll show you a faster way of doing this with the other one in just a moment. You may be able to work it out for yourself while I'm doing this. It'll only take me about another 30 seconds. This one under this one. Okay. So this is our other one here. Isolate the selection. Really quick and easy way of doing this one instead. Get rid of the polygons. Select by border, Control A and bridge. There we go. Doesn't really get much easier than that. And what I can also do here, which is nice, is just chamfer the edges. Just drop down here into edge mode to do this. Round them a tiny bit. You can also round them actually inside the chamfer system now, which is quite nice, because it didn't used to be able to do that. So if I just increase the number of segments, you'll notice we get rounding happening now, like that, which in turn makes the door actually sit inside that area there. Okay, so why have we gone to that bother? Well, because when we come to actually rotating the door down now, it doesn't intersect with anything else. And also you'll notice it's lying at floor level rather than lying flush with floor level. It's an important difference. Okay, next, what I'm going to do, make a copy of it. Now I'm going to make the copy from before I did the chamfer. Bring it down to 90 degrees. I'm going to call this portal floor. There's a reason for that. Go back to this one, just isolate it. You'll notice all the edges are still selected and I can still just repeat the chamfer I had on it. Okay, but this one here obviously isn't chamfered, which is an important difference. Okay, now let's isolate this, because I need to work on this one. Reason being, I need to turn this one inside out. I could use the paint select tool incidentally, but it's not very good. Okay, just grow, delete, select everything, flip. Okay. Now I'm going to grab here and here, and extrude these backwards a little bit. Not too much, just a little, like that. That and that off there. Extrude that back to there, then bring that back. Like so. Now notice that's inside out still, so just going to extrude that back a tiny way. Actually, we don't need to extrude that back a tiny way. We just need to keep that there where it is. Take the tops off. Bring that into about there. It's not our job to continue on the scenery after this, alright, so what I'm doing is building a place where the stuff will lie and work. Now I'm going to only build half of it, so get rid of that half. Shift and drag that to there, and then I'm going to use the scale tool just to make it flat. Now to about there. Grab both of these together. Now I've got to be careful because this piece here we're going to want to close up slightly separately, otherwise we're going to get damaged polys. So go straight through the middle of this, do a connect, go to the bridging tool, bridge there first, and now bridge across from here to here. You'll notice it makes that shape instead, like that. Over here, probably half it down a little bit. I can go to there. It'll be half this one. Kick into the bridging tool. Now then, this is... I thought I made a mistake. Thankfully, I can fix that. There to there, and then there to there. Okay, and that seals that part out. Now over here, if you remember we have this piece here, this is all going to be hidden, so that's not a concern for us. The only concern we had really was getting the flooring to work. We can now exit isolation mode and see which parts are covered and which parts aren't. What's nice is we have quite a lot of control over this now. And this part here is not straight, but we can make it straight. There we go. I think it's a bit early for quite a lot of people. Okay, so looking at this, I'm going to build some shapes into it, whilst bringing the floor back at the same time. It's quite good because I don't need to bring the entire floor back. I can do it in quite a rough shod manner in places. There we are. And then just bring these in a little bit, like so, and then out, like that. Gives us a nice run up to this wall. I think I'm going to delete these parts, select them here instead. And bring this across. Just until the bounding box moves again. Then I can bring these down a bit to that. Just so I can see how high that was supposed to be. Doesn't mean I'm keeping these, because I'm not. There's no need to keep them, and no reason for me to keep them. Last thing I want is an enclosed area. That's not what I need. Okay, now I'll grab this edge here, bring this up. Okay, and I'll just weld these parts. And pull back. Okay, that gives us this nice useful wall here that we've created. Now you're going to wonder why I've created some of these shapes in the floor, obviously. And it's just so that we can create additional shapes as we need them, depending on what purpose this place has been built for, obviously. Just inset this one a bit. Now then, if I just select this and do a quick loop to see how far back it goes, and a ring, I can then chamfer it nice and wide. If I chamfer it nice and wide like this, and increase the segments, I get that nice smooth shape like that, which really is very pretty. And then here, I believe I've placed a second shape. Inside that I can then have a cutout coming down, so what I'll do for that is, rather than actually build it directly into the shape, I make a cylinder, and this time I'll make it 22 polygons, and I'm going to bring it out from here, but bring it down instead of up, like that. Convert to editable polygon. Delete there. Next, I'm going to delete that and select this. Just flip it. I think I need to select all of it first. I'm going to attach it to this. Now then, let's see what happens if I bridge it. Ew, horrible. Let's not do it that way then. Just use a single cap on it instead. Funny, single caps often work considerably better. It's one of those irritating things, really. And down here in the bottom. Always a useful little plot to break up models by doing this. It's all about shapes. Always about shapes. There we go. Now then, see if we can get any of this if I do a loop. Probably not. Yeah, I didn't think so. There's only 22 sides though, so it won't take me a minute to select them. So we need to break up that edge, it's too sharp. Again, we're talking about, you know, you've probably seen it yourself, chiseled, finished, new marble always looks very, very sharp until it's had its edges done, because it is so damn sharp. The edge, it's like a blade, it doesn't catch light and reflect it nicely. It's like building things out of knives, it's so sharp. And we're kind of establishing that this is probably a marble or marble-esque building. Got to be careful when we chamfer this. You'll notice that some parts don't work as well as others. You see, it'd be nice if that part did work. See what we can do to fix it, if anything. I think if we run a cut from here to here to here, maybe here to here. Problem is we've got to go and reselect all these parts now, which is a bit of a nuisance, but beggars can't be choosers. Well, actually no, they can. Let's see, if I chamfer all this, now you'll notice we're chamfering these as well, so let's cancel out of those. Now I have a suspicion that there's too many verts. Let's see. There, look, we can see there's a problem here. And I think it's still caused by having this line in, so I'm going to have to get rid of it first rather than later. And see what effect that has on it. Remember, when I'm recording an MT session, you're welcome to drop in on the recording session at any time. Any questions or changes you want, any methodology tips you need, just let me know. That one. Oh, no, cancel. Chamfer. There, that's better. No, then we've got an edge here that I don't like. Starts to appear there, look. Try and find out what that is in a moment. I suspect it's this cap. Yeah, it is. So I'm going to need to recap it. But that's okay. We'll just make it into smaller pieces. Now this piece here is going to have to be moved. However, once it's moved, this will work again. There we go. It's a nice shape for these pieces. It's smooth, it's quite pretty, I like it. This wall here obviously would benefit from having slightly more detail than it already has, but you know, that's the way it goes. Might just extrude this back a little bit, just because it gives me some nice shapes to work with. There we go. Okay, now what I can do is duplicate this. So what I'm going to do is just apply symmetry to it, ensuring that I've got it on the correct axis, obviously. There we go. Now what we can do is grab this door and literally just open it and shut it, and it'll sink into the flooring like that. Now you'll notice there's no actual explanation given as to how this works. There never is, really, is there? However, that's not the way I roll, so I want to know how this door works to a degree. I want to know how it operates. So what I'm going to do is grab here, here, here and here, do a tiny inset, then scale it in, scale it down as well. Now then, we can have as complicated a mechanism as you want. If you have seen the 3D Palace tutorial set entitled The Door, you'll kind of know where I'm going with that. However, we don't need a complicated mechanism. If you look, this has all been simple curves and straight shapes. If we add a lot of machinery to this, we're going to break the ergonomic flow of the model, and we really don't want to do that. Pretty sure the whole idea with this would be to try and keep it as simple as possible from a design perspective. So I'm going to have 2 segments here. And I just need to locate where, in my opinion, at the bottom of this is. So I'm going to grab this and drag down to there. So I can use it as a reference. And then what I'm going to do is hinge from edge. I can have 90 like so, and I'm going to put in 12 segments. There we go. Now I'm going to have slightly more than 90 degrees actually. I think 120 is probably, maybe even more. Let's see. Certainly not 180, but maybe 160 degrees. That works to a degree, but I don't think I need that central one there because it's just curving back on itself, which isn't looking as good as I wanted it to. There we go, put it on there. Now, the shape of this is pretty base at the moment, but we can adjust that. So let's just get this to an angle that's going to work for us. So I think 120, which is my original suggestion after 90. 14 segments. Click OK. I'll just dispose of that because we don't need it. Next, I'm going to grab here, 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 and here. And let's just loop those. We don't want to loop them all the way, so I'll just deselect those ones. Now you remember what we did before with the chamfer, so we'll do that again. It's a case of increasing the amount of the chamfer here, then increasing the amount of the segments. At the same time being careful because we don't want to damage anything by breaking the model. Here we can see that we have this shape, and this is an excellent opportunity to add a modern edge to this. Remember, we don't need to go down massively far with this model. The one thing we need to be careful though is ghosting it, and I'll explain what that is in just a moment. First of all, let me just extrude this back in on local normal. Right, so ghosting is where you've basically spent all your time building your complex, convoluted, and otherwise awesome model. And then if you look, when it comes to animation time, it's just sinking into the floor. Where's it going? We don't know. It doesn't matter. It's not in any way realistic. So what we have to do is build something for it to go into. Otherwise it's not going to work. Easy way of doing that, what I'll do is I'll just grab this one. So if I grab this edge and ring it, Control select by polygon, detach as, doesn't matter what it's called, Now I've actually removed it from the entire model, which is not what my intention was. I want to attach it as a clone. Right, now, effect pivot only, set it to object. And I can move this down like this. And what I'm doing is I'm basically creating a trough. Or a lip, or whatever you want to call it, that this is going to follow into. So it will give an impersonation or an impression, or whatever you want to call it, of the fact that there's somewhere for this to go. It's not just magically sinking into the earth. Hopefully you understand where I'm going with this. It's an important thing though, and a lot of young artists forget it. A lot of artists who are in a rush forget it. They think, well, it doesn't matter, no one's going to notice. Trust me, it's one of the things that I first look for, unintentionally even, when I'm looking at someone else's work. If they've done an animation and I see that, especially in something professional, honestly, it makes me want to kill someone. Right, now we need to make sure that this is going to go through it without having, well, see. Now if we look, it's coming through at the back there, so we can probably move this a little bit further forward. So I'll just bring there to there, not too much, otherwise it's going to cut into it. And at the back there, bring that to about there. Not too far, otherwise it's a bit like a magician kind of showing his hat to everyone and the rabbit dropping out. We don't want that to happen. There. So by the time it's dropped in, it's gone. It's like a nice big blast door as well, so that's quite nice. Okay, now let's do the bridge thing. Obviously we need to bridge this. And do some capping. There we are. Now you're going to have to go and chamfer that, but you can see now that we have the effective hole. So quite a few edges here, unfortunately for us. Thankfully, because we just capped, we can actually use some of the selection. There we go. Okay, let's do a small chamfer, not a big one. See how large we can get away with making it. Not very. Didn't think we would though. Give it as one segment. Okay. So now this piece here will lower into place. And I'm just going to quickly look over it. There we go. So presumably it would be kept in a downward position until needed. And then behind this, let's make the archway that we're going to follow. If you end up with a polygon that does that, by the way, just mash F2 and that should fix it. Okay, now let's get some edge. Unfortunately, I can't select by loop because it will literally select everything. It's a case of just going all the way along here slowly using the edge select tool. Okay, and down here. I tend to lean right in close to my computer. It's like a manual zoom button for me. Zoom in, zoom out. There we go. Let's check I've got this one. I don't think I've got this one right in here. No, I did. Good, good. Okay, get onto the move tool. Let's move it back in. That way we have this floor tunnel thing going on. Bridge that. And that. Now then, over here, where this is, slide that into place. As long as I don't have any mad overlaps, it should be fine. Just check the door doesn't look insane when I've done that. Good. Now get rid of this element because we don't need it. Yeah, that's not bad. I can live with that. Okay, now apportionment of textures. What I'm going to do is drop into the texture editor, and I'm just going to make 6 basic textures here, and these are going to be applied to things depending on what they are. So it's best to have different colors, and as you all know, I'm not great with that, but I'll do my best. For me it just tends to be different shades of red or blue, I'm afraid. As long as they look different though, that's going to help with me, because I'm going to feed it into my RT renderer, and I want to be able to see what it sees. I want to be able to apply 6 different materials to it. If I just take it to as it is now, I'm just going to be able to apply 1 material to it, and that's it. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so I'm going to start off with materials that I've assigned to the floor, which is this one. So for this, I'm going to select everything that isn't the pillars and the walls. And assign them as floor. Yeah, someone's asking if this can be exported into Unreal. Well, let's have a look, shall we? Statistics, 6,000 polys. I mean, we need to do some quads on this, but this is low poly. You could export this into quite a few different things. So yeah, you can export this for the moment, at least, into Unreal. Pardon me. Yeah, just assign the normals in Mudbox or ZBrush or even in Max. I mean, we can make a massively detailed version of this, just apply rivets bloody everywhere, you know. Right, so that's our floor. Let's go over here. Let's apply it on this one. Then we can have fun mixing things up a little bit. Well, yeah, 6,000 is extremely doable. I mean, that's quite a fast mesh considering the size of the piece. But I think you probably have to do quite a bit of texture work on it, really, to make it work well. Just separating out these pillars. You know, I have no idea which texture color I just assigned to these damn things. Well, there's not a lot of unwrapping here. Most of it is just cylinders and planes. I mean, to unwrap this piece, I'm not going to do it today, simply because I've got to keep within the time constraints that I've got. This is a question being asked in the chat channel, but there's no reason why you can't unwrap this at all. You're just going to have to be a bit patient, that's all. Just making sure I've got the right textures going on this damn thing. Sometimes I wonder if Rob really needs to get a job doing something different. Bless him. You need to get back to doing 3D, Rob. Right, I'm going to fire those ones over to there. Yeah, I don't think Rob slept till last night. For anyone who's inquiring as to why he seems to be living on sugar at the moment. I'm going to apply a 7th texture, just because I'm so hardcore. It's the way I roll, etc. Let's see, I'm going to apply this one. Okay, so look at that. Ooh, isn't it beautiful? It looks like something made out of Duplo now. And I don't think I've textured this, assigned a texture for this door yet either. Which is probably going to need to be metal of some kind. So I'll just pick another colour. It's probably going to be a blue variation. I like blue. They need a 3D Palace color version for 3ds Max. It's got like 2 colors on it or something. There we go. Is there anything assigned to this inner door area? I'm pretty sure there isn't. Now I think of it. Yeah, nothing assigned to that one. Let's give it this one. No, let's give it this one. Yeah, there we go. Alright, and all I'm going to do now is I'm going to export this as a filmbox file, which means going over here, export, and then look, there's FBX, and I'm just going to export that down to my desktop, and I'm going to call this, let me think, portal base T model low det, because it's low detail. Actually, before I do, you know what I should do as well? I should grab it all and just mash 12 iterations of detail on it. No, I'm only joking. I'm just going to stick a quick smooth modifier on, but I'm going to set it to pretty much automatically work itself out. Auto smooth by about 22.4. Yep, that looks fine. Convert to editable poly. And then export to, don't think I saved it before. Portal untextured base mats applied low poly V. That way I know what it is. Right, let's see what the up axis on this damn thing is. There we are, up axis. We're going to have as the y axis, not the z axis. Or should we? We'll try it with the up axis. If it doesn't work, I'll just re-export it. How about that? That seems fair. Everything else I'll just keep as it is. Oh, sod off. There we go. And I'm going to save this as 03 surrounds and application of base materials. Hit return and we're done. See you in the next part. Or at least I will whenever you load it up.